Hello, welcome back, folks. Sis is here.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. So, we're just going to start with what a definition, right? A definition of a narcissist. Just to recap, we have done the other videos that are on the feed. A narcissist is an individual who displays an excessive preoccupation with themselves. They're self important. They've got an inflated sense of self importance and a profound lack of empathy for others. They can have empathy for themselves, usually with something that affects when it affects them. So they can have an unrealistic sense of importance, even a grandiosity type thing, a
Yeah, well,
success focus.
that's one of the traits is
Yeah.
grandiose.
Now there's also a definition for emotionally immature people because, like we were saying before we clicked on the record, emotionally immature people can look like narcissistic people because they've got similar
Yeah,
traits, and we know that we can all experience elements of a trait. But an emotionally immature adult, the definition is someone who struggles to process and regulate their emotions, frequently reacting with childlike behaviours, impulsivity, and a lack of self awareness. They often have trouble taking responsibility for their actions and lack the emotional depth required to navigate complex relationships effectively. So that can show up in tantrums, stamping their
yeah.
feet, not speaking, all those different things it can show up in.
I can definitely probably say that I've met more people with childlike behaviours or responses than what I have a narcissist
Yeah. And I think once we
response, even
see,
though they're very close.
yeah, and once you like start looking into things and you see the links, you can see, can't you? Like maybe
Yeah,
is why people use that word too much these days, narcissist and gaslighting and stuff.
but that's what I just said to you because I'm coming up 60 and I didn't know. I've never delved into what a narcissist is before. Probably
Because
because
we
I've had
wouldn't
no
have used,
reason to.
do you think these are modern words, sis? We wouldn't have used these words. We would have just called people an arsehole. They're an arsehole.
Yeah.
Or they're not a
Now
nice
stop being
person.
childish.
Or, yeah, stop being childish. Grow up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Think about what you're doing. Or we pull people. People don't do that now, though, do they?
No, it's
They
all
come.
labels, though, isn't it? It's all
Yes,
labels for everything.
exactly. It's all labels, and these are used quite often, which I think is one of the top why this topic come into play is because it's used quite a lot
Yeah.
when different types of behaviour shows up when it's not necessarily a true fact. The person may not be someone who suffers a narcissistic personality disorder, but there might
Yeah.
be elements within that that shows up. But again, could be emotional immaturity. I'm not
But
getting what I
again,
want. I'm stamping my feet. I'm going to punish her. I'm going to whatever.
yeah, there is a slight difference between being a narcissist and having narcissistic
Yeah,
personality disorder.
definitely.
There is that different, slightly different, both on the spectrum.
There's
One's higher than the other,
if you
and
think,
stuff like that.
yeah, and it's almost like if you think of other stuff like autism's on a spectrum.
Oh
Narcissism,
yeah,
it's
massive, massive.
narcissism is also kind of on a spectrum from being,
Yeah.
it can show up in all of us. At some point in our life we might have been selfish because we wanted something, but it's
The
not
only
something that would be part of our character. That would be an ongoing everyday thing, and it's got to match in with the whole criteria
yeah, yeah.
of
I mean, there was one kind of significant difference I did notice between looking at a narcissist and narcissistic personality disorder
mhm.
was on the narcissistic personality disorder, exploitation of other people and a fragile self-esteem came up on there, which they didn't
But
on
it
the
is,
definition of a narcissist.
yeah, but it is part of
Especially the
it that
yeah, especially the fragile
yeah.
self-esteem that came
But
up
that
in the
is the part of the
personality disorder.
narcissist is their very shallow, low self-esteem. They have to have that mask on of being here. They berate others, and
Yeah,
how they berate others, it's how they're feeling about themselves, really. A, a lot of it, I listened to a doctor, a psychologist the other day, I can't remember her name now, And she said a lot of it at the base of a narcissist is shame. Because they know they're not doing enough. They know they're not showing up. They know they're not this. They know they're not that. But that's how they're thinking, and they're having everybody pulling on their bits. And they thrive by emotional. They feed off your emotional energy. So it's like, it's not like, if they use the word love, it's not love. They're getting something from you.
Yeah. And then again, when obviously I've just looked at it lately, not as deep as you have, but again, from both of what we are saying, it comes down to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
When you just look at kind of the fact, what is a narcissist? They'll say, and I've wrote down, a narcissist is someone characterized by excessive self-involvement, a grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others, and they often seek admiration and may disregard the needs and feelings of those around them. That's basically what saying is what, in layman's terms, what a narcissist is, without going into like a deep dive.
But we've I've gone through a deeper thing in explaining those in those previous videos. But what today is, how does it show up in relationships? How can we recognize these behaviors? Because whatever the behavior is, it can be an abuse. It's some sort of abuse, a lack of respect, a lack of your boundaries, overstepping boundaries all the time, not taking accountability for their actions, causing situations and turning it back on you to blame.
Even to coercive control.
Well, that is a big part of it, because
because they want you to do everything that they want you to do in a way they want you to do it.
Yeah.
Because
and they'll use manipulative tactics to get that. And sometimes that can show up in victimhood. Woe is me. It's not fair. Definitely. I do everything. I'm this and I'm that and I'm t'other. When actually they didn't do nothing. Or not a lot. But there's a lot of ways it shows up. And like I said to you before, I wrote a few people down in my life who I feel either were had narcissistic personality disorders or emotionally immature adults. And we were talking the other day about our mother.
Oh, yeah.
And how we felt it showed up in our relationship with mother.
Yeah, in many ways. Many ways.
And it did, in many ways. Everybody else was to blame. She blamed everyone else for all of our issues. I mean, even not starting our married life with her husband, she blamed that on Nana. I mean, she's a married woman. You made the choice. Playing our children off against each other.
Which she did well into adulthood.
Yeah, always did that. Not taking accountability.
Never took accountability. It was never her fault.
Yeah. So she would.
Always, I know I did. I maybe should have done that, but there was always a but.
Yeah.
Because this happened.
It's like a backhanded apology. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but. But most often than not, she wouldn't accept accountability, and negating the importance of things, lack of empathy for others and their experience. And we can just come to the point when everything came out about the child abuse.
Yeah.
There was no empathy there. There was no care.
No, not.
There was no nothing. In fact, what she ended up saying to me in a discussion was, well, I've had the talk with him, he's admitted everything, but he said his mother was like a Mr. and Mrs. West. All matter of fact, no empathy for the child that had been, children really that had been damaged.
Yeah.
So all those things points to that kind of person. That points to narcissist personality disorders rather than emotionally immature, because that was no empathy whatsoever for her child.
Yeah.
As a young child who suffered all that, and that other child that she didn't know at that time, but that was the conversation.
But it was also she would go back to what things that happened to her when she was little, as though that was an excuse to was being told off her own child.
Making her experience more important than the actual present issue.
Yeah.
Again, no empathy.
Yeah.
Our brother, apart from the other fact that she was a mother in name only, mostly because she was never in the house. We can't remember her being in the house often, being a mother in the home often. She was always around the club. We had to take care of ourselves, literally. If it wasn't for me nana, I don't know where my sense of would have been. Our brother.
Yeah.
Our brother's been he was a hard worker. He grafted for the same company for 30 years. We both know that before he passed. But our brother, it showed up in things. So again, whether this was emotional immaturity or narcissistic personality, he was all for himself. He was self-propelled. It was all about him. He had children he never bothered with, but he talked about as if he loved them and as if he did, but he never made any effort to partake in their life. Anything that happened to in his life, and I know because he lived with us many times, that happened, he'd blame other people. He'd blame somebody else. It was never his fault.
Yeah.
So it showed up a lot.
Yeah, I think with half of Paul was immaturity as well. I really want to say that with Paul.
Yeah.
Because I think he was always quite childlike. You always want.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, I feel he need.
Want to be a man, like you know, that kind of.
Sometimes I used to feel he was a little lost boy. So I feel that like you're saying, emotionally immature, and it's.
Yeah.
I don't know where that come from. Now they say narcissism and these kind of behaviours, doesn't stem from one place, one thing, one situation. It can be something from childhood. From childhood, it's either one extreme to the other. They're either really spoiled children who grew up to have entitlement, or the trauma and neglect children.
Yeah.
Life itself and the choices people make is the biggest hit. So, partners, when they're living with partners, the wants that they start accumulating, when they get out in the world and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different ways these can all come in. So what happened to Paul, I don't know. Because I don't see, possibly Joanne's got some emotionally immature things, I think, and I feel being the youngest child, possibly, and the things she's had to put up with.
Out of the five of us, she was the most spoiled.
She was the most spoiled, but she was also, I think, she was the most traumatized by them.
Yeah, she was psychologically from being little, but then again, a lot of traumas again.
Yeah.
Through.
And in her case, emotionally immature. She's no accountability. She's gone into hiding from everybody. She's.
But I mean, even when she wasn't, she took no accountability. Things were never her fault.
Yeah. A blame.
You know, even when you had a good relationship with her, if you pulled her up or anything, nothing was ever her fault.
Yeah, and that's how it shows up. That's how it shows up. I mean, a healthy person, if they do something wrong, we can all make mistakes, we can all say things, do things in the heat of the moment. But a healthy person would acknowledge that. They would genuinely apologise.
I've done that. I've told you, I've discussed this with you before. Looking back, going through perimenopause, menopause that I didn't know I was going through, working in mental health and stuff like that, and I look back, I was a horrible person. I apologised, held my hands on more than one occasion to my ex-partner from that time, and to a friend from that time. I held up my hands and said, I look back and think, what horrible. I called myself some choice words.
But did your behaviour change?
Sorry?
Did your behaviour change? Because, with these disorders, yeah, because with these things, that behaviour usually doesn't change. It'll revert back.
Yeah, I think the behaviour had changed, and that was how I was able to reflect and look back and realise how bad I had been.
Mm-hmm. Now,
hurting people with my words, basically, and my actions.
yeah. Well, a
And I took
narcissist.
accountability for that.
Well, a narcissist are unable to self-reflect.
Yeah.
They can't look at themselves because they know what they're going to see. That's the important thing. It's not because they don't know what they're going to say. They know what they're going to say. They've got to step up to the reality, drop the mask, which means the whole existence life that they've been.
Persona, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything. They're not going to strip bare, are they?
No.
It's like,
they'd rather lose people. They'd rather lose things and continue to live in that thing. But they are when they lose people, they don't grieve like we do. Because it's not a loving, deep attachment. It's something else. They just move on to the next person. They'll move on to the next thing that they can use to propel them to make them feel the way they want to feel. But it's awful. And some of the ways it's shown up for me is like, I've put my whole thing into someone. I've been ill. I've been told to heal I'm sure you can heal yourself. I've been left to I can't carry the bins out. I've got me wrists strapped up, me legs gone. Nobody there to help. Haven't got the time. Don't make us feel guilty. All those things. Then you do start feeling guilty yourself. I shouldn't be asking for help. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. And then I got called. My love was conditional. Well, actually, my love is conditional. You don't treat me well, you ain't getting my love.
Yeah.
You're getting what your consequences of your flipping words or your actions. That's what you're going to get from now on. You're not just getting, and that's when we stand up. It gets turned round on us, doesn't it? Like my mum's trying to blame us for different things. It's you did this. Well, no, I didn't. I wasn't even there. So a lot of things come up like that. It's the same with partners. Partners can end off controlling, whether male or female, can end up controlling the partner, can't they? Like who they want you to go out with, who they don't want you to go out with, what you can wear, what they don't want you to wear, where you're being, where you're being, where you're going, what you're doing. And when you don't go on their way, threatening to leave you possibly, or making threats and all those. I've had those also. Like, well, you can't have this person's. I'm not going to let this person come to see you. I'm not going to let this. I was actually told once, talking about our brother, if you speak to him again, I'll never speak to you. I'll never speak to you again in my life. That's what somebody told me about my own brother. So it's they don't take accountability, and none of our people did. That's why we never regained any communication with our mother, really, is it? Because she's never going to.
No, like I say, I mean, yourself, I had to distance myself from her and Joanne because of the way they made me feel. Many times, because many times I'll be like, oh, it might be different this time, and it never was. And that was kind of like for my own sanity, because they had me down in depression. And for my own sanity, I cut off all.
And that's what they do, Karen.
To them.
And it's what they would say is like, Joanne was one of Mum's flying monkeys. She's like a go-between. She can be nice, she can be not nice. But when they get together, they would start on you together.
Yeah.
And then have you feeling as if you were the problem, you were the.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. But then they turn on each other as well. When I sat there and wouldn't take what they were telling us and answer back, they turn on each other.
Because it's always got to be someone else to blame.
It was crazy. Honestly, it was absolutely crazy. Even our Joanne's own daughter couldn't believe what she was seeing, what she was hearing at the time, because obviously she was a teenager, and she just couldn't believe it.
It's crazy, man. And they can't. But I found as well, one of the main persons that I can definitely say has narcissistic, more of the traits than I've ever known anybody else. Um, Made me feel exactly like that also, and has enlisted the flying monkeys. And they end off grouping up and all taking action together. Some might be thinking they're doing the right thing, but they're not. They're under the flying monkeys' influence, manipulation, and
Yeah.
control. Um, and quite often that action doesn't work with well balanced people because you see what's happening.
Oh, exactly.
And they end
You've
up
got to
paying the
be more.
consequences because you're like, right, no, if you can be cruel enough to do something like this as a group, well, you stay as a group. I'm quite happy on my own. But it's hard, isn't it? Because, like you said, it got you in a depressive state.
Oh God! After one occasion, I'll admit I didn't get out of my bed for 3 days.
And no
I
apology
had
come
me
in?
that down.
Anybody check on you from either of them?
No, no, no. Nobody checks.
And no
Nobody
accountability for what
asks.
went on.
No.
And that's kind of the pattern of it, isn't it? They'll create something, they'll start something, and they won't take accountability. It's everybody else's fault, and everybody else are feeling like we're walking on eggshells.
Well, that's it. I mean, friends at the time and work colleagues used to say, have you not learned by now? Have you not learned by now?" And I used to go, "Yeah," but you think, "Oh, you hope
You
that's
hope.
going to be different
Yeah.
next time."
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not going to be
as
the
well,
same.
because people like this, they're like it's like they've got no idea what reciprocal energy is because they've got no empathy for you. It doesn't matter. They don't care about you, in a sense of you struggle on your own. People have watched me struggle. They've watched. I haven't got time. That's okay. Fuck off then. But they can be nice. So they can be nice. They can be generous. They can be complimentary. That's called hoovering when they're trying to suck you back in. So they've got you on an edge. They're nice. So you find yourself saying, oh, well, maybe she had too much to drink and maybe something got out of hand, because, they can be really nice. They can be really, other times they're all right. And that's how we can convince ourselves we're on a seesaw.
But it is. I mean, they used to ring me to go up, and I'd be like, "No," because of what happened the last time or last week
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. "Oh, no, 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 it'll not happen again. No, don't be that, don't be that, don't be that." And I'd be like, "No, but you said that last time and the time before and the time before, and you still did it. I'm not getting into all of that. No, no, don't. We just want to see you, brother." And you could bet your bottom dollar, maybe it's for the first hour, everything would be lovely, because obviously I would have just been not long home from work after working a 12-hour shift, off work the next day, going up and having a chat, blah, 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 and then you would back, honestly, within an hour, the one or both of them would start. And you were just like, "Here we go again. Here we go again. Nothing changes."
They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. They've got to have, like, they've got a sense of importance where they're not, people I've seen, they don't really do anything.
So,
They don't, they've not took part in experience in life, real life.
yeah.
Um, they've not studied anything, but quite often you'll find them sprouting about, specific topics they've got no experience
They
or,
know everything and know nothing.
yeah, no
Or is it
knowledge.
jack of all trades, but
Master of none. Jack
master
of
of
all
none?
trades, master of none.
Yeah.
But it shows up in their way, and a lot of the people in my life have tried to make me feel less than. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of the love that I was giving everybody else. They just took. And I don't think any one of our people expected us to walk away.
No.
Like, would my
No.
mum have ever expected you? Right, nah, I'm leaving this village
Well, no,
and I'm
because
off.
it was always close and all that in most of the ways. No, she would never have expected me
No. And how
to
old were you
come
when
up.
you moved out of the village away from
Um,
40s or early 50s?
late 40s,
Late
because our
40s.
Craig was about 17.
So you had adult, you had
I
adult
had
kids
two adult children.
before you moved
So I
out
was
that village.
17. Yeah.
And I remember saying to you at the time, you need to be out of that village. You need to be away from them. They're literally zapping your
Uh-huh.
energy, like. But what a difference when you did move.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And once they realised they couldn't dig their claws into you anymore, and they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that, well, you stop getting that
Yeah. Without a doubt.
anxious feeling.
It's like a weight off your shoulders because you're not having that at you on a regular basis.
Well, it's like a relief because you know you're not facing that. You haven't got to face it. You haven't got to face it again.
No, exactly.
Because at that point, when Mum and so we knew you know, if you're in your late 40s, I'm in my early 50s. We know there's nothing. She's never going to take accountability. She's never going to face the facts of what life was like for our children in reality and stuff like that. And I think earlier that my decision to end things with that, I wrote her a letter. It wasn't a nasty letter or anything. I just tried to explain to her, I cannot continue having a relationship with you. I'm trying to bring my children up to know right from wrong.
Yeah.
And she was still married to the man who she knew had so I couldn't. But I never wished her any ill. She did ring up and try to get a reaction from me. If you remember, she used to always try and make me cry, and she used to always succeed.
Yeah.
She used to always succeed. And then she would turn around and say, "Oh, you turned them on like crocodile tears." But she'd so much effed my head up to the point the tears came. She couldn't do it this time on the phone.
All of our daughters.
Yeah, well,
all of our daughters.
She couldn't do it this.
Because Paul was away.
No, she couldn't do it this time on the phone either, and she was with Joanne.
Yeah. A little sidekick.
Yeah, they were both together. And I actually said to her, I just stayed quiet on the phone until she finished what she was rambling. And I said, look, Mum, I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to happen. I've said what I've said in the letter. I wish you well. I don't wish you any harm. And I hung up. And never
I
engaged.
I never had any final conversations with either of them. It was just, I just distanced myself when I was still in the village. Distanced myself. I moved out Manchester for a few months.
But I think that's it. You did the right thing, distancing yourself.
Yeah, I just distanced, and then I think I seen her once, maybe twice when I'd moved out of the village, and then that was it. Just she only ever came to my home once, and that was to see my granddaughter after she was born, when she was 3 weeks old. I was at work and I'd seen her. So I mean, my oldest granddaughter's 14 now, so that was the first and only time that she'd actually seen her was when she was 3 weeks old. And I never seen her again. I'd never seen her before the baby was born, and I hadn't seen her since.
Yeah. But it's like that's the best thing to do is to detach, because you can't reason with an unreasonable mind, and you can't. It would just end off an argument, wouldn't it? It would just end off in arguments, end off in physical fights sometimes. Because she was handy with her hands. Like, remember, I going for me in the passageway because I was telling her, like, your fucking husband abused us. But
never ever went for me, I must admit. She grabbed my wrists to stop me reacting. But she never actually, I don't know what I would have done, because I've never raised my hands to her. But I felt like it, and I told her that I wanted to.
I had to grab her wrist, and I walked out the front door. I'm like, oh my God.
The person I got a punch was Joanne.
But they don't want to face things.
Mum again said to it in a narcissistic way, now that I know, is to Joanne, oh well, she didn't punch you that hard, so she must have wanted to hurt you.
You were still standing. See, they've got they just don't care, man. In fact, they get off on it. And then if they can see to be the good person, but the thing is, they don't show all these traits to people so sometimes the work colleagues don't know, their friends don't know, You know, all these things. They think, oh, they're dead canny, they're dead helpful, they're dead bubbly, they're dead positive, they're dead this, they're dead that. In actual fact, that's the mask they're showing you behind fucking closed doors and with their personal people. The degrading, the put downs all the time, making you feel less than, and got no time for you, literally.
Well, I think with her, then the mask slipped a few times, especially kind of like work outings and stuff, like drinks and stuff like that. The short bits, and that other people will be like, Christ, now I see what you mean.
That's happened to me a couple of times with a particular person in public, but straight away I've responded with the fact of the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a blank look. The person's waited till the end of the situation, the session we had. Then she ripped shreds out of me. I'm like, and I had to wait until she finished hollering to say, this was the situation. You thought it was okay for you to do that in front of all them people, not expecting me to respond. That's what you thought. But no, I responded.
Well, they don't like any recriminations, right? They won't, because in their eyes they're doing nothing wrong.
Well, actually, in their eyes, sometimes they know they're doing wrong. They don't care. It's because it's what they want. And that's when they'll come back to you saying, no, you've got it wrong. Or you made a mistake. Or I didn't realise that was what I was doing. But no, they do. It's because but they want to. It doesn't matter. Everybody else's feelings and situations is negated because they want it. They.
But it's like also it kind of made me smirk a bit. Again, when I said I was looking into like what is a narcissist and all this, and it came to the treatment. And as soon as I see the word, I just shook my head before I even read any further because it said psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
But a narcissist, it says, is less likely to seek treatment due to their lack of insight into their condition. And because they won't own up to it, like I say, as soon as I saw psychotherapy, I thought, is that it? They're not going to...
There's certain drugs that they can take, especially if there's core thingy conditions. But psychotherapy is the main thing. And but the thing is, like it says, a narcissist won't look at themselves. A narcissist will very rarely go and get help.
Well, exactly, because
they don't see anything wrong. Like,
they
want to carry on what they're doing. They want to carry on what they're doing. And if they do go and see one, they are able to manipulate the situation, right? So they give the therapist exactly what they want. You know, because you've worked with mental health people. You know, it's a similar thing.
Tell you what they think you want to know.
Exactly. They tell you the right answers, what you want to know. So still, maybe no help. They can say, I've been for help, I got help, and and show all the things. But no.
No, it doesn't work though, does it?
And it's the same when... I mean, narcissists, sometimes they can get a sense when you're about to leave because you're starting to stand up for yourself and pull them up. So they'll start preparing things in the background, enlisting allies. And they can start turning things on you before you break away. So they can start the slander, the smear campaigns and stuff, and start playing a victim of, I don't know what this person's thinking, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. This is turning it before you even know what's going on. But very rarely will they stand up to responsibilities. They can come back and they can feign apologies.
Oh, yes, but they'll never fully mean it.
And there might be, things might be all rosy for a couple of weeks, couple of months or whatever, but it'll happen again.
Well, that's it. It all depends what fits their narrative at the end of the day. And it's like you say, you could go on for weeks and weeks, and you think, oh, they have changed, they have turned over a new leaf. But once they've got you back in, and then that's it, the behaviour starts again. So it's just like.
And the thing is, if it's been like a long no contact, and they come back in, and you immediately reciprocate, they'll think, all I had to do was come back and say, oh, I'm so sorry, bang, got them back. No. you need to tell them my energy's changed in that time.
Well,
You don't have emotional control over me anymore.
I don't think, yeah, agree with the energy changer, but it's also your thought processes and everything, because everything you ever thought about that person initially has gone. It's gone. You don't see like the good in them anymore, the nice person in them anymore, because of the way they treat you or behave towards you or anything like that. So you're always going to be cautious of them. You're always going to be on the back foot if they come to you nicely, and you're going to think, I would certainly be like, oh, hold on,
what do you want?
What they're after?
What they're after?
What's going on here? Type thing.
Yeah.
Because you're permanently going to be on the back foot.
And sometimes that can come in, and it's yeah. Sometimes that can come in. It's happened to me where a person's come back into my life, and then it's like all of it made up, but nothing talked about. So they still hadn't took accountability for their actions, right? But then that person had said to me, I used to cry myself to sleep, I used to cry myself to sleep. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, but you did that to yourself.
Yeah.
You did that to yourself. You took the action, and then you stayed in a huff, and you didn't take accountability. You didn't step up. You didn't do nothing, and I'm not pandering to that. Can you remember?
It's even when you have had these conversations with people in that moment.
And that's when I have the conversations with people, when something happens.
In that moment, everything's been turned back at you.
Mm-hmm. As if it's your fault.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like...
They can go from like, I missed you so much, to like, then trying to make it's your fault that I was feeling this way. Well, no, it was your fault.
Your action that started in the first place.
Yeah. And what they don't realise is sometimes, especially people who have recovered from trauma of being in these type of relationships and stuff, and whatever traumas they might be through, when they find themselves, what I found was peace. Like you said before about feeling a weight off your shoulders, I actually felt relief. That's the word I'm going to use. A sense of relief. Because I would never have let go. I would have always been given and always been given and always been feeling like I had to give more because they still weren't happy.
Yeah.
And, even though I'm suffering 15 years of illness.
Before I detached from mum and that's how I felt. Like I said, time and time again, you give them another chance. And this one day you have to kind of stand and think, nothing's going to change.
No, you've got it.
And it was that crux of finding that I felt so down, couldn't get myself out of bed, that was the realisation.
Almost destroying you.
Yeah, and I'm a strong person.
I know you are.
I was always the strongest person. I mean, Christ's mother in that used to say, like when I was young, you haven't got a heart, you've got a swing and break.
A swing and break. It's because you had to be tough.
If they wanted anything sorted for themselves, it was always me that came to. Oh, Carol sorted, she's hot. So I did put on that persona.
No, but you see, we're talking about the narcissist who said that to you.
Yeah.
Or somebody with narcissism, because we haven't got a definite diagnosis, but a lot of the traits. But that was someone like that saying that to you.
Yeah, I know.
But your reaction, your emotions is maybe at the moment you were withholding emotional feeling towards that person as a protective thing. Who knows? But they. Oh,
I always went through most of my life with a brick wall against my emotions, and I think that was from childhood.
Yeah.
Because it was something to protect myself with, if you like.
So you protected yourself from it, and I was looking for it. I think I was looking to give it. I was looking to receive love, but I was looking to give it also. But it's like, there's got to be love in this world somewhere. There's got to be someone who can give and take it.
Yeah.
Not just say the word. And that's another thing a lot of these people rely on, whether it's the emotional, immature people or the narcissistic personalities, is the words. They rely on words. Very rarely do they put action into anything. Like, I love you, but they're not present. You don't know me.
No, I mean, again, going back to Mum, she used to say, I love you, when she was drunk.
Yeah.
And there was quite a lot of times, especially in adulthood, what's the only time you say it was when you've had a drink.
Mm-hmm. And I never used to see her hardly, Mum, when I lived over in Berkeley. But when she used to go to darts on a Tuesday, quite often, Karen, there'd be a knock at my door. Me and the baby would be in bed. They'd knock at the door. And it was her, drunk. He's sitting in the car. She wants a cuddle. Waking me out of my bed. Wanting a cuddle. Stupid o'clock at night.
Just thinking about
Just thinking that was all right. That was all right. She could do that. Well, do you know, sometimes I think, was that a warped thing?
Yeah.
Aye. Before she went home with him. Very, very strange. But they have all these things. But they're dealing with the narcissist's behaviour. You can't argue with them. You cannot try and, because we try and explain ourselves.
Yeah.
We try and rationalise things with them. Sometimes one of the best ways is to try and sit and explain and talk to them. But they're not listening because they're not fucking interested.
No,
I've
done that before as well. Even showed evidence. Past behaviours. It's like.
And did they recognise it at the time, or did they still stay in denial?
It wasn't meant the way you've taken it.
Exactly.
That's what it's scared.
Yeah,
it wasn't meant the way you've taken it. Well, that it's written, because obviously we had mobiles written.
Yeah. Yeah.
And text.
It's crazy. I've had that. Like, well, as you know, my 60th birthday, but I got it all wrong. What are you talking about? What can I get wrong here? Here's the facts. What can I get wrong here, you toxic person?
Like, people keep saying you can't argue with facts. Oh, a narcissist can.
A narcissist can argue definitely with the facts. Definitely, they'll argue black as white because they cannot drop that mask. They can't be wrong. They don't like embarrassment. A normal person doesn't mind being embarrassed. Or, like, embarrassed is probably the wrong word. You know, like if I said something and it was wrong, and somebody corrected it, I'll go, oh, right. Sorry, that's what it means. Yeah. The narcissist would have to go into a whole fucking reel of why they got confused and to try and cover all the thing. So I have two people who are very, very similar in that kind of behaviour. My ex-partner, very similar to a feminine in all of the type of behaviours the narcissist personality would display. But it's hard, isn't it, Karen, when you're in it? Because we're loving the mother, we're loving the brother, we're loving the...
Because I think you think love will fix everything. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, I think also you think it's reciprocal. Well, it's my mum, of course she loves us. It's my brother, of course she loves us. It's my partner, of course they love us. It's my child, of course they love us.
Yeah.
But when they've got these personalities...
to be honest, I know I've said to Mum a few times, you know, I love you because you're my mum, but I don't like you.
Do you know I've said that a few times to people? Well, what I've said is I love you, but I don't like your behaviour, or I don't like you right now. To get the definition in. You know,
like, I don't like...
It's the behaviour you're thinking that I'm not. Maybe it should have been, I love you, but I'm not accepting that behaviour. Maybe that's a better way to put the words.
Yeah, maybe.
But every time, when you're trying to, even when you're giving them the facts like you say, negated, twisted.
Yeah.
Cannot win.
And they're very good at that, very good at twisting, to the point where you just think...
Well, the way you're down.
Why I'm bothering?
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm bothering.
The way you're down. You can't even have a conversation because they'll escalate it in some kind of argument because they're immediately on the defensive.
Yeah.
So they can't take criticism very well at all. And I feel part of the reason for that is because you might say something, but that little something you might say in a conversation with them might be something really big in the back of their heads that's really deep down that they know is them. Do you know what I mean? So they've got to
Yeah.
defend it. But the best way to deal with the narcissist, set boundaries and limitations. This is crucial. Clearly communicate what behaviours you will not tolerate and what kind of treatment you expect. Be prepared to enforce these boundaries, even if it means limiting contact with the narcissist. It's like give and take, isn't it? It's reciprocal energy.
Well, it is.
I wrote a song about it. Don't like it, don't fucking do it. If you wouldn't like it, that's how I've lived my life. If you wouldn't like it done to you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't jolt with their jabs. Narcissists often use criticism and negativity to manipulate you. Learn to recognise their tactics and avoid taking their barbs personally. Detach emotionally and don't engage in heated arguments. So the things that are being thrown against me is loads of things, being called loads of things. But it's all about them. It's not about me.
Well, again, it's hard not to react.
I think for some
at times, I think it'll be different now.
And I think context would be different, wouldn't it? If you're in a telephone conversation and someone starts like this, you might yell back.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done it myself. It's got out of hand. I'm not a screamer, but this person, God, should make a priest swear. I screamed at the person, and then that was it. Never said another fucking word.
Yeah.
Because you can't. I just give her the facts there and then. It's just that wide-eyed. But you just can't, because they just don't take any fucking notice. And they've still got your energy, man. They've still got control of you, your emotions, anger, upset, whatever.
But it's they suck the life out of you at the end of the day.
Totally.
They suck the life out of you.
Well,
and it's like, your life is just as precious as theirs. Yeah. So it's like, why would you let somebody, like say, taking your energy, sucking the life out of you? Why would you put up being put in that kind of situation?
Because
if anybody's feeling like that, then they do need to take a step back and look at everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this person a narcissist? What are they? And look at everything.
Look at the behaviours.
So it can sink you into depression.
So prioritise your own well-being. You cannot control the narcissist's behaviour, but you can control how you respond to it. Make self-care a priority. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Maintain healthy relationships with supportive friends and family. Seek support. Dealing with a narcissist can be isolating. Don't hesitate to seek support. Understand your situation. Talk to someone who can understand your situation, I think, can guide you better. But there was something I wanted to mention. Where have I put? I think I've lost it. But it was the difference between... Oh, I've done a video. I'll add it to this. The difference between a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship. How it shows up. But it's like they would put you down on everything. They've got to be better in everything. It's like they are the important one. Your needs aren't important. Your feelings aren't important. Not that they can't show as if they are important in words or sitting with you in time, but the ensuing actions would just show, no, you're not important at all. So people, what we would say is make sure you look at yourself as being important.
Oh, very much so. Nobody, you're important. You're as much. You're as much important to yourself than anybody else is to their self.
Yeah.
It's self-preservation at the end of the day, and it's your own. I don't know. The word's just gone. It's just looking after yourself, and it's your own
Well, it's your own mental health and well-being, isn't it?
It is.
And sometimes,
like say, if you've been in somebody's company and you come away feeling drained and stuff like that, then have a real good conversation with yourself to find out what's going on, because this could be the start of having the life sucked out of you.
Exactly. I mean, looking at your relationship with whoever the relationship is with, partner, family member, friend, work colleague, look at that relationship. How does it make you feel? If it's not making you feel at best balanced, you know, we all have ups and downs, don't you, in relationships, Karen says, but they're not all the time. It's not a constant battle. You're not constantly walking on eggshells.
If it's a friend or family member, and every time you spend some kind of quality time with them or any length of time, and you come away feeling less than, drained, whatever, that's when you have to look at that relationship.
Definitely.
And dissect it, basically.
Do they uplift you or do they bring you down? Do they mock you, criticise you, gaslight you?
Yeah.
Do they take your feelings into account or not? Is it all about them? Or is it reciprocity? There's a lot you have to look at. So look at your relationships. Are they true reciprocal relationships? I have put some helplines on here. If you do need help, please do reach out. Signs of a healthy relationship, healthy behaviours in relationships. And this is coming from victimsupport.org.uk. They always treat me with respect, no matter where we are or who we're with. They're proud of me when I achieve something. They encourage me to keep trying in things I find hard. They're comfortable with me spending time away from them, with family and other friends. They try to do some of the things I like, such as sports, cinema, music, crafting. They respect me when I say no or disagree. They can talk about their feelings with me. They don't cheat on me, and they trust me not to cheat on them. They listen to me when we disagree and try to see my point of view. They give me compliments and say positive things about me to others. They have friends and interests of their own. They don't rush our relationship. We can take it slow. They ask my opinion and decide important things that affect us both. The signs of an unhealthy relationship. They make threats and do things that make you feel frightened, guilty, whatever that may be. They put me down just to make me feel bad when we're alone or around friends. They make me do things I don't want to do without listening to me. They make me feel guilty if I don't spend time with them or comply with their needs. They don't try to get on with my friends or family. They hit, slap or push me. They look through my phone, social media or web history. They want to know where I am at all time. They cheat on me or accuse me of cheating on them. They steal from me or make me buy them things. They make me do things I don't want to do. Guilt-driven. The early warning signs. Relationships impact us on a lot of us and on a lot of things in our lives. It's really important if you're beginning to feel unsafe that you look at what is causing it. How do you know if you're feeling unsafe? Here are some early warning signs. You're becoming a lot more critical of yourself, thinking you're always doing things wrong, or are unattractive, unlovable, or unable to support yourself or do things you used to. You give up on your own opinions and think your partner's right about everything. You're feeling more stressed or worried all the time. You feel nauseous or have bad butterflies. Sometimes stress can also stop us eating and sleeping properly or cause us to have headaches. You have that dreaded feeling more often. You're scared of how your partner will react to a situation. They're using the word scared there, but it could be anxious, could be anything. You avoid saying something because you don't want to upset your partner. You feel scared when your person or your partner is angry because you can't predict their behaviour. You're feeling the pressure to change who you are or move the relationship further than you want to. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're staying in more and seeing less of family and friends to avoid arguments with your partner. Seek help. If you're recognising any of the early signs, There are people who can listen and help you decide your next steps. You might not want or feel able to end your relationship at the moment, but it's important to get help to end the abuse. Without intervention, it's unlikely the abuse will stop on its own, and you'll just get worse and worse. There are many ways you can ask for help and don't always need to report it to the police, a trusted family member or friend. Remember, they might not react in the way you expect as they're not trained in domestic abuse. However, getting the support of a friend to go with you to a specialist agency can be an important first step. So, victim support 0808 1689 333, National Domestic Abuse Helpline 0808 200 247. That's 24-hour confidential helpline run by Refuge, where you can talk anonymously and ask for general information, advice and guidance. I hope that's been helpful. A lot of people are suffering coercive control and abuse, psychological abuse, I feel more so in today's world. That needs to be addressed. Reach out, get the help. You're not going crazy. That's the way they want you. Stamp on their feet. So an emotionally immature adult is someone who struggles to process and regulate their emotions, frequently reacting like with childlike behaviours, impulsivity and a lack of self-awareness. They often have trouble taking responsibility for their actions and lack the emotional depth required to navigate complex relationships effectively. Poor emotional regulation. Adult tantrums resorting to outsized anger, sulking, or giving the silent treatment when things don't go their way. Impulsive behaviour, speaking or acting without considering the impact on others. Low emotional awareness, struggling to identify, articulate, or manage personal feelings effectively. A lack of accountability, blaming others, consistently deflecting fault, making elaborate excuses, or playing the victim rather than acknowledging their role in the problem. Defensiveness, responding to constructive feedback or boundaries with anger, snarky comments, or denial. Self-centeredness and lack of empathy, the inability to compromise, expecting situations to revolve entirely around their wants, their needs and preferences. Poor boundary setting, invading others' personal boundaries or ignoring reasonable requests for those around them, from those around them. Overstepping boundaries constantly. Difficulty with relationships, avoidance of vulnerability, steering clear of deep committed conversations and preferring surface level or high dramatic social environments. Insecurity disguised as arrogance, feeling the need to constantly be right in every conversation or taking minor disagreements as personal attacks. Conflict avoidance, ghosting or shutting down, avoiding uncomfortable but necessary discussions by shutting down, stonewalling or disappearing instead of resolving issues constructively. If you're dealing with someone who displays these patterns, establishing firm, clear personal boundaries and managing your expectations regarding their emotional capacity can help preserve your own well-being.